Good evening to you all. Being a Portuguese based in Germany, invite me anytime for chicken. It's much better than wurst any day. So all good. Well, I work at Deutsche Telekom, which is a member of the ETNO, the European Telecommunications Network Operations Association. And therefore, I will give you a perspective from the industry side on how AI is impacting our day-to-day lives, businesses, and also what we are trying to bring from the telecommunications side into this world. I'm going to probably beat a little bit around the bush in some of the topics that were mentioned by my esteemed colleagues before, and therefore I try to be the least repetitive and boring as possible. But still, I wanted to emphasize the size of the challenge we have at hand. And just from the economic side, as Andrea, you were mentioning, in 2016 alone, the US overall investment on AI was around about 20 billion euros. China 10 and Europe 3, which means that we are a tenth of the two other parties combined. Pretty weak. When it comes to research, for example, and despite the fact that we have excellent researchers in Europe and a lot of work being done on R&D for AI, in the period between 2010 to 2014, 18,000 patent applications which are AI related came from the US, 8,000 from China, and guess 4,000 from Europe. And China actually increased 200% versus the previous reporting cycle. So the gap is huge, both in the investment and on the research associated with it. This is an area which will impact our lives professionally and socially. And I'm not underestimating what is being said here. The labor impact, for example, it is estimated that half of the labor could be impacted by AI. I mean, not all the tasks, but potentially some of the tasks can be done by AI for many of us. And that means that we will have to work side by side with evolving machines and evolving algorithms that will help us, support us in making better decisions. I can make a few examples out of those, and even today we are using already in the industry, but we need to be prepared. The funding regarding the skills, definitely. The research, the capability to improve our digitization society definitely needs to be there. Having said that, Europe is not in a bad shape, actually. I mean, there is this gap with respect to the investment, in respect to the technology, but the ethics discussion actually puts us in the lead in this topic around the world. This has to be a differentiator for Europe. Can you please consider a system where you have a national credit score system for all your population, for all your citizens, and then you are denied from taking airplane or train traveling, millions of them, based on lists which you don't know, which are completely unbeknownst to the general population? This happens today in China. It will be completely in line by 2020. And Europe is not like that. Europe has always been about transparency, about having human-centric approaches when it comes to this type of technology. So we need to pick up that differentiated, unique selling point, I would call it, and catapult it. Therefore, all those work that you are doing, please continue, because it's extremely important. I do believe it's a competitive advantage from our side. AI basically is, if you have given the capital, it's basically three things. You have the data, you have the algorithms, and you have the computing power. And given the capital, I will come back to that a little bit later. But data, so where can we actually support on providing data, which is the fuel for AI in the industry? I mean, telecom operators are deploying networks and rolling out networks every day. 5G will be the next one, and Andrea, you mentioned already before. This allows for everything that can be connected to be connected. And I mean really everything. I have seen scenarios where even a towel can be connected. And I don't know why, but apparently there is a demand for ensuring if the towel is ready to be sent into the washing dryer or not. Anyway, everything that can be connected will be connected. And therefore that generates, I don't know how to compute, but zillions of information elements that we have to and can process. So the industry will do their part, the telecom operators will do their part, but of course, the research has to go alongside those lines as well, and the funding needs to be there. Regarding the computing power, yes, it was already mentioned before, Cecilia. We do not have the capability to challenge the main two blocks when it comes to compute power, at least today. There is not a European cloud challenger that matches the processing power that we have across the Atlantic and in the other side in Asia. And actually, most of the industries in Europe rely on US and China to provide the infrastructure required to handle that data. And if we want to be competitive in that respect, something has to change also alongside the data computing. Last but not least, I would say that it is important that the AI is on the agenda for the European Commission and for European in general. There is a lot of activities that we can do to foster the utilization of AI in our industries. We will be able to deliver much more when it comes to data availability and data evolution, but making additional regulation on top, and I'm fully agreeing now back to the point of Andre and Cecilia, will probably slow us down, and that should not be a path that we would pursue. I would really go like the words that Cecilia mentioned about the sandbox approach of testing the capabilities and ensuring learning us with those models, and then if required, then let's go back and see what the regulation that we have, if it needs some adjustments or not. But further hindering down our step and our speeds with on top things that we need to incorporate in our processes, I believe it's not the right way. Yeah. Again, thank you very much for the opportunity, and glad to answer your questions. Thank you.